It's almost morning again. It's 11 p.m. and I really should be in bed. I really should be asleep. Because I want to wake up and I want to, get some cardio in. It's going to be intermittent rain tomorrow. Don't know if I can get outside. I might do another indoors workout. And, I want to do my cardio, some martial arts, and some resistance. So I should really be in bed. But this is really on my mind. I've made a couple of videos. Let me move my perspective here. Made a couple of videos which I'm going to be posting as a series. In a cluster, put it that way. And they were serious topics, and I think I'm going to get attacked. So, expecting a fight, let me just throw a few more punches, alright? Mass shootings, school shootings, and now there's another mass shooting in Maine, and the insane thing is, I saw a news clip of some commentator saying, we got to stop these sanctuary cities, like that has anything to do with it. My God, you're dumb. Fox News, you're dumb. Sean Hannity and your ilk, you're just dumb. My God. I go to the bathroom and what I flush away has got to be smarter than you. Okay? I own guns. I believe in self-defense, not other offense. I don't have the guns to attack other people, to go after them, to chase after them, but it's self-defense. And what that means is it's not just about am I a law-abiding gun owner. I think I have to try to go the extra mile and be an extremely ethical, extremely careful gun owner and try to do what I can to protect myself and others from the potential of this weapon. And I'm forced to think about that a lot these days. Today's a rest day. Yesterday I had, my workout day, and I got cardio, martial arts, and resistance in. And today I was, mostly resting. But I said, let me get on my e-bike, let me go to my favorite coffee shop, get some lunch. And I bumped into a buddy of mine that I recently met, another kind of what I would call one of the very liberal military veteran, and told me about the shooting in Maine, which is just insane. And immediately it's politicized, but it's hard not to politicize it, Again, yet another white guy, yet another angry white guy who took his frustrations and anger out on people. And I didn't delve too deeply into this because I kind of feel like if a mass shooting happens and you immediately start looking up who this person is and reading their bio and everything, it's kind of what they want. But you can't help yourself, can you? But, they want to go out in a blaze of what they think of as glory and honor, and their name will be remembered. I think that's part of what's going on. Certainly not in every case. But a lot of the crazies on the right, there's crazies on both sides. Things are so unhinged right now. But their solution is, simply if everybody concealed carried, the solution is that if you had people on the scene that were concealed carrying, they could take them out. That's the solution. I mean, that happens sometimes and it doesn't appear to be doing anything for the problem, but here is the most gigantic flaw in this. Can you see this, right? In order for that to work, the mass shooter has to actually get to where they want to be with the weapon that they have and shoot at least one person, or try to. They have to have a clear shot at their targets and begin engaging oftentimes with a very powerful semi-automatic rifle that is a modified version of a military weapon that can fire burst or full auto. And anyone who's ever been in the military, I have, my chief weapon was the M16A2, but I also shot the SAW, I shot the Mossberg 550 pump action shotgun, I shot the Beretta 92F all the time, I shot the M203, combined M16 and grenade launcher, I've shot the Mark 19, I've shot the 50 cal, I've shot 60 millimeter mortars, 80 millimeter mortars, the H&K MP5 and the Car 15, which is very similar to the M4. And actually, it wasn't a Car 15, it was a Colt SMG, which is a modification of a Car 15 that shoots 9mm. It was a submachine gun. I've shot all of those weapons and developed proficiency in it. I'm saying this to say that I'm not a noob, alright? But in order for this to happen, a very powerful weapon has to be unleashed on the public, oftentimes to kids or to unsuspecting civilians, and then hope that on the scene is someone with a pistol will be able to charge through a hail of bullets, shoot the guy, and it's always a guy in general, after he may have shot like 10 kids or 10 people at a subway station, right? It's not a very good plan. It is not a good plan to say, let's hope that someone who, has an indeterminate amount of training or none or barely any has a 9mm or a 45 or a 38, tries to make the opportunity for a shot under combat conditions with no backup, no communication, not even, hopefully his rounds don't go. It is chaos. It is not a good plan. Many of you who advocate this are racial supremacists, and for a bunch of people that claim to be part of an innately superior, innately intelligent master race, you sure come up with a dumb idea. Alright, so what is the solution? I'm not claiming to have the solution, but here are some solutions. I just want to be on the record as saying I tried to voice this. First of all, there is a direct correlation between domestic violence convictions, more of the more serious type. I mean, yeah, you might have been in an argument with your significant other and there was some pushing and shoving and maybe someone fell. That's one thing. Okay? Closed fist beating your smaller significant other in the face, hitting them with an object, alright, and repeated assaults, that's another thing. You might want to be very careful about letting that person buy every type of gun that they want in every quantity. Alright? We understand that we can license cars, things like that. You need an electrician's rating, so on and so forth, but some people basically think you shouldn't even think of well-regulating guns, and yes, I use the word well-regulated. The Second Amendment has a lot of language in there. It talks about a well-regulated militia being necessary to, paraphrasing, maintain freedom and readiness. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, but it shall be well regulated. You see what I'm saying? You can well regulate a thing and not take the right away. As a matter of fact, folks, every right you have is regulated and conditional. You have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Your pursuit of happiness is limited by the degree to which you interfere with other people's pursuit of happiness, their life, and their liberty. Right? You can swing baseball bats as much as you want. You can't swing them at people's heads. Common sense, right? You can well regulate any type of thing without saying it's not illegal to have it, but there are preconditions. Missouri, considered an extremely conservative state. I've heard it described as a third world country inside the United States in terms of some of its laws. Missouri has fairly robust laws. You need a background check to buy a gun. They get on the computer, you fill out a form that's identifying information before you can buy the gun. They run a quick background check. If you have a domestic violence disturbance, particularly of a violent kind, if that's on your record, then you can only buy black powder. I don't know if that's for the duration of your life or there's a time period. Of course, if you commit an assault, commit a robbery, a murder, you can get arrested by the police, you go to trial, and if convicted, you go to prison. Your liberty and maybe even your life is restricted, even though it's a constitutional right. All rights are conditional, basically. Even freedom of religion. I mean, if you're a Christian, and Christians at one point were really big on human sacrifice. Don't believe me? What is burning at the stake? Someone is tied for religious reasons to a stake, and there's wood piled up all around them, and there are priests praying, and there's a religious justification for this. And oftentimes you're burnt for simply not believing the orthodoxy as a heretic, right? If you want to start bringing that back as your freedom of religion, the law is going to stop you with good justification. I'll stop you, right? So don't tell me that a regulation is removing a right. That's nonsense. Grow up, be an adult, stop thinking about your feelings, start thinking about facts. Facts don't care about your feelings. I agree with that. Facts are that we have a problem. We also have a mental health problem, huge mental health problem. And, if I'm at the point where if I look at the newspapers or the internet for 2 or 3 days and there isn't a mass school shooting or a mass shooting in this country in the news, I think either something's wrong or that something's wrong with the press. They're not reporting what's out there, because it is out there. It is a problem. You have no power over something you're not going to confront, and closing down a sanctuary city or throwing some immigrant in jail isn't going to stop this. It isn't immigrants doing this, people. It's you. It's mostly white men, various ages. Most of them have domestic violence. After domestic violence, arrests, sometimes trials and convictions. Almost all of them have a record of mental problems and easy access to all sorts of guns. I heard this guy was not ex-military but current military. I don't know if he was active duty or not, and that he had extensive firearms training. Normally you would think you would be safe around a guy like that. Normally. Something's up. We need to look at our society and just start coming together, both sides and the independents, and having an actual discussion instead of shouting and pointing fingers at each other and oftentimes accused of things that they're not trying to do. Most of them really are just trying to get elected by riling up their base against the quote-unquote other side. But if we can't come together and say, hey, here's 5 things we can do to, reduce the likelihood that when you send your kids to school, they don't get shot. What good are we? And again, many of you opposing even asking this question, many of you that are going to write all kinds of hateful comments, you think you're innately superior, innately more intelligent, innately more moral to me and everyone else around us because of your race. And you are 100% completely unable to come up with an intelligent series of responses. Your go-to answer is, let the shootings start, let the shootings begin, let the bullets fly, and some random person with a handgun will intervene and try to stop it from getting even further than it was already allowed to be. That's not intelligent. That's not the sign of a superior mental race. It sounds inferior to me. I am emotional. Tired of it, man. Tired of hearing about someone shooting 20 kids. Tired of hearing about a crowd at a concert or a crowd at an intersection, a subway, a random street corner, a festival, just popping off a bunch of rounds and killing random people or non-random people. Just selected them because of their race or their proximity to a building he didn't like. Right? You can do better. You can do better, and I'm not in a position to do anything else but make this message. Alright? Especially you much older people who control most of the money, and you much younger people that have the numbers. At some point you will have to talk to each other. Alright? At some point you will have to talk to each other, and you will have to listen. You won't listen to me. Listen to the screams of all the people getting shot that absolutely positively don't have to get shot. And please, please, please don't ask me for respect. Don't ask me for courtesy if the smartest thing you can think of is let the shootings begin, and then we'll see if we can intervene violently, hoping to just make it a little bit less worse or of a shorter duration, and hope that the heroes rounds don't go off and hit someone. Dumb, dumb, dumb. Good night.